Welcome, welcome. You have called the right person. Oh, let me tell you, you have dialed the number that will change your life forever. I am here, a warrior in this battle against the insidious forces trying to emasculate our men, and I will help you become the ultimate version of yourself, the man you were destined to be, a true alpha, a leader among men. So, today we will talk about the toxic masculinity lie, a concept so outrageous, so fundamentally wrong, it makes my blood boil. Are you ready to hear the truth? The raw, unfiltered truth that they don't want you to know. They, the puppet masters, the architects of this twisted reality, say that masculinity, in its rawest form, is toxic, poison, a disease that needs to be eradicated from society. Can you believe the audacity? They want to strip you of your very essence, your strength, your drive, your inherent power. But I scream from the mountaintops. Are you a man or a doormat? Will you stand tall, a titan among men, or will you crawl on your belly, a spineless worm begging for scraps? Weakness. That is the real poison, the true disease. It is a cancer, a plague that is crippling our men, turning them into mere shadows, hollow shells of what they could be, what they should be. They are emasculated by society, castrated by the very culture that should be nurturing their strength. We will expose how the real danger is not masculinity itself, but the suppression of it, the deliberate, calculated crushing of the male spirit, leading to a generation of lost, directionless, powerless men. Men who are adrift in a sea of confusion, unable to find their anchor, their purpose. Men who are slowly, agonizingly being erased. But not you, not anymore. You are here because you feel the spark, the embers of the fire that still burns within you. And I will fan those embers into a roaring inferno, a fire that will consume the lies and forge you into a man of steel. We are going to break these chains together. We will rewrite your destiny. Are you ready to step into your power? Let's talk about the erosion of strength. I will paint you a picture so vivid, so real, it will shake you to your core. Imagine a world, a society, where boys, from the moment they can walk, are taught that their natural instincts, their drive, their very essence as males, are inherently wrong. That their desire to explore, to compete, to conquer is something to be ashamed of, something to be suppressed. What happens when you cage a lion? When you try to silence its roar, its very nature? You do not get a gentle kitten. You get a ticking time bomb. A creature of immense power, turned inward, self-destructive, a danger to itself and everything around it. Just like a caged lion, slowly going mad in captivity. This is what is happening to our men. This suppression, this relentless assault on masculinity, it manifests in a myriad of devastating ways. Depression, a black hole sucking the joy and vitality out of life, becomes their constant companion. Anxiety, a relentless whisper of fear and inadequacy, gnaws at their minds day and night. These are not just feelings. They are the symptoms of a deeper malaise, a sense of purposelessness, a void where their masculine spirit should be, that eats them from the inside out. They wander through life, lost and adrift, disconnected from their true nature, unable to find their place in the world. Like ships without rudders, tossed about by the storms of life, with no direction, no destination. And the most horrifying evidence of this silent epidemic, the suicide rates of men, skyrocketing to unimaginable heights. It is a silent scream, a desperate cry for help from a generation of men who have been told that their very existence is a problem. They see no escape, no way out of the darkness that has consumed them. This is not just a statistic. It is a tragedy of epic proportions. Each number represents a life cut short, a potential unfulfilled, a man who has failed by the very society that should have supported him. This is the brutal reality of the war on masculinity, a war that is claiming countless casualties every single day. It is a crisis that demands our attention, our outrage, our action. We must break the silence and expose the truth before it is too late. We cannot stand idly by while an entire generation of men is being systematically destroyed. It is time to fight back, to reclaim the strength, the power, the purpose that is the birthright of every man. Are you ready to join the fight? Are you ready to unleash the lion within? Attack on male ambition. Have you ever noticed how ambition in men is now viewed with suspicion, labeled as aggressive, or even worse, toxic? But I ask you, what is ambition if not the fire in the belly, the burning desire to achieve, to conquer, to build empires? Is it not the very force that separates man from beast, the driving impulse behind every great advancement in human history? They want to extinguish that fire, to smother it under a wet blanket of conformity and mediocrity. Why? Because a man with ambition is a man who cannot be controlled, a man who dares to dream beyond the confines of what is deemed acceptable. And that is a threat to the established order. Let me tell you about a man I knew, a man who was a force of nature, a human dynamo. This man, let's call him John, was a titan in his field, a visionary entrepreneur who built his business from the ground up with nothing but grit, determination, and an unwavering belief in himself. He was a man who worked 18-hour days, fueled by black coffee and an insatiable hunger to succeed. He was a man who saw obstacles not as roadblocks, but as challenges to be overcome, mountains to be scaled. He was, in every sense of the word, a self-made man, an embodiment of the masculine drive to achieve. But what happened to John? Did society celebrate his achievements, hold him up as a shining example of what a man can accomplish when he unleashes his full potential? No. They whispered behind his back, called him ruthless, a workaholic, a man who neglected his family in pursuit of his selfish ambitions. They told him to tone it down, to be less, to find a healthier work-life balance. They chipped away at his confidence, eroded his self-belief, until one day he started to question himself. He started to listen to the insidious voices of doubt, the whispers of mediocrity that told him he was wrong, that his ambition was a disease, a character flaw that needed to be corrected. He began to dial back his efforts, to work fewer hours, to spend more time on leisure activities he did not even enjoy. He tried to fit into the mold of the modern, emasculated man, the man who is more concerned with being liked than with achieving greatness. And what was the result? Did he find happiness in this new, watered-down version of himself? Did he achieve a state of blissful equilibrium? No, he imploded. His business, once a thriving enterprise, began to falter. His employees, sensing his lack of drive, lost their motivation. His marriage, already strained by the constant criticism he faced, crumbled under the weight of his growing resentment and despair. He lost everything: his business, his family, his sense of self. He became a ghost, a shell of the man he once was, his fire extinguished, his spirit broken. This is not an isolated incident. It is a pattern, a deliberate and systematic dismantling of male ambition that is happening all around us. We are told that competition is toxic, that striving for excellence is unhealthy, that the desire to be the best is somehow morally wrong. We are encouraged to embrace mediocrity, to be content with average, to never reach for the stars lest we offend those who are too afraid to even look up. I tell you, this is a tragedy of epic proportions. It is a crime against humanity. To stifle ambition is to stifle progress, to condemn ourselves to a future of stagnation and decline. True ambition, the drive to conquer and achieve, is not a flaw. It is the very engine of progress, the spark that ignites innovation, the force that propels us forward. It is what built the pyramids, sent men to the moon, and created every great work of art, science, and technology the world has ever known. We must reclaim our ambition, our drive, our burning desire to be the best. We must reject the poisonous narrative that tells us to be less, to settle for mediocrity, to apologize for our inherent masculine nature. We must teach our sons that it is not only okay to be ambitious, it is essential. That the world needs men of action, men of vision, men who are not afraid to reach for the stars and build empires. We must create a society that celebrates achievement, that honors those who dare to dream big and work tirelessly to make those dreams a reality. Only then can we unleash the full potential of masculinity and create a world where men are free to be the heroes, the innovators, the leaders they were always meant to be. Weakness is the real enemy. Think about it. Ponder this deeply. What is a man truly? A strong man, a man who embraces his masculinity, his raw power, is a protector, a provider. He is the bedrock upon which his family, his community, his world stands firm. He is the unyielding wall that stands against the raging storm, the shield that deflects the arrows of misfortune, the fortress that safeguards all within its embrace. But what of a weak man? What of a man emasculated by the venomous whispers of a society that fears true strength? I tell you, he is a liability, a burden, a gaping hole in the defenses. He is the one who crumbles, who collapses, when the world demands strength. When life throws its hardest punches, he is the one who falls to his knees, weeping, unable to withstand the blows. He cannot protect anyone, let alone himself. He is a ship lost at sea, without a rudder, tossed about by the waves of circumstance, destined to sink beneath the depths. Let me paint you a picture, a vivid portrait of this truth. Imagine a family, a mother and her children, huddled together in their home. Outside, a storm rages. The wind howls like a banshee. The rain lashes against the windows, threatening to break through. The very foundation of their home trembles. Who is their protector in this moment of peril? Is it the weak, emasculated man who has been taught to suppress his instincts, to cower in the face of adversity? No, it is the strong man, the man who has embraced his masculinity, who stands tall and defiant against the storm. He is the one who boards up the windows, who reinforces the doors, who ensures the safety of his family. His strength is their shield, his courage their comfort. And what of the weak man? He is the one huddled in the corner, paralyzed by fear, his eyes wide with terror. He is a burden, another soul to be protected, another weight on the shoulders of those who are truly strong. He offers no solace, no protection, only a quivering mass of fear and insecurity. This is not mere conjecture. This is the stark reality we face today. Look around you. Look at the state of our men. They have been taught to be ashamed of their strength, to apologize for their ambition, to suppress their natural instincts. And what has been the result? A generation of men who are lost, adrift, without purpose or direction. They are plagued by anxiety, by depression, by a sense of utter worthlessness. They are ships without rudders, destined to crash against the rocks of life. Suicide rates are skyrocketing. I have seen it firsthand. I have witnessed the devastating consequences of this war on masculinity. I once knew a man who was the epitome of strength and resilience. But he was slowly eroded, chipped away by the constant barrage of negativity. He was told he was too aggressive, too dominant, too much. And what happened? He retreated into himself. He became a shadow of his former self, his spirit broken, his confidence shattered. He lost everything: his business, his family, his very will to live. This is the fate that awaits those who succumb to the lie of toxic masculinity. We must confront this uncomfortable truth head on. We must shatter the illusion that weakness is a virtue. It is not. It is a curse. Embracing strength, not shunning it, is the only path to a fulfilling life. It is the only path to becoming a man who is capable of protecting, providing, and leading. It is the only path to becoming a man who is truly worthy of respect. A man who can stand tall and proud, knowing that he has the strength to overcome any obstacle that life throws his way. Do not be fooled by the siren song of weakness. It will lead you only to ruin. Embrace your masculinity. Embrace your strength. Embrace the power that lies within you. Become the protector, the provider, the leader you were destined to be. Become the wall that stands against the storm, the shield that protects those you love. Become the man you were always meant to be, and you will discover a life of purpose, of fulfillment, of true power. Are you ready to cast off the shackles of weakness and step into the light of your true potential? The choice is yours. Make the right one. The world depends on it. The dangers of the nice guy philosophy. We have all heard the mantra, be nice. Oh, how sweetly it rolls off the tongue, like honeyed poison. But I ask you, what does it really mean in the concrete jungle of life? Does it mean being a spineless pushover? A man with no boundaries, no backbone, a doormat for every woman, coworker, and so-called friend to wipe their dirty boots on. I have witnessed, with my own eyes, countless men, good men, well-intentioned men, fall into this insidious trap, lured by the siren song of niceness. They become human doormats, walked all over, trampled upon, disrespected by everyone around them. Their lives spiral into a vortex of misery, a disaster of their own making. Backslash, and let me paint you a picture. A vivid portrait of the nice guy in his natural habitat. He is the man who always says yes, even when his gut screams no. He is the man who apologizes even when he is not at fault, fearing confrontation like a mouse fears a hawk. He is the man who puts everyone else's needs above his own, sacrificing his own well-being on the altar of others' approval. He toils tirelessly, seeking validation, a pat on the head, a crumb of affection. But what does he get in return? Nothing. He is taken advantage of, used, abused, and then discarded like a broken toy. Backslash, and I once knew a man, let us call him John, a textbook nice guy. He was kind, considerate, always ready with a helping hand, a true gentleman, or so he thought. In his relationship, he catered to his girlfriend's every whim, anticipating her every desire, suppressing his own needs and desires. He thought he was being the perfect boyfriend. But what happened? She lost all respect for him. She saw him as weak, needy, a doormat. She cheated on him repeatedly, with men who treated her like dirt, men who were the antithesis of the nice guy. Why? Because deep down, women crave a man who can stand up for himself, a man with boundaries, a man who commands respect, backslash, n. And what about in the workplace? The nice guy is the one who always volunteers for extra work, who stays late, who never complains, hopping to climb the corporate ladder through sheer niceness. But what happens? He is passed over for promotions, while the assertive, confident go-getters, the ones who know their worth and are not afraid to demand it, rise to the top. His boss sees him as a pushover, someone to be exploited, not respected. He is the office donkey, burdened with work, but never given the carrot, backslash, and I have seen it time and time again. Nice guys finish last, not because the world is unfair, but because they allow themselves to be victims. They have been fed a lie, a dangerous philosophy that equates niceness with weakness. They have been taught to suppress their natural instincts, their assertiveness, their very masculinity in the name of being nice, backslash, and but I tell you, true strength lies not in blind niceness, but in setting boundaries, in commanding respect, in knowing your worth, and not being afraid to assert it. It is about being kind, yes, but also being firm. It is about being considerate, yes, but also being courageous. It is about being a man, not a doormat. Backslash, and think of a sturdy oak tree. It is kind, providing shade and shelter, but it is also strong, with deep roots that anchor it firmly to the ground. It bends in the wind, but it does not break. It commands respect, not through aggression, but through its sheer presence, its unwavering strength. That is the kind of man you should strive to be. A man who is both kind and strong. A man who is respected, not walked all over. Backslash, and so, I implore you, reject the nice guy philosophy. Cast off the shackles of weakness and embrace the power of assertiveness. Learn to say no, to stand up for yourself, to set boundaries, to command respect. It will not be easy. It will require you to confront your fears, to challenge the ingrained beliefs that have held you back. But I promise you, the rewards are immeasurable. You will gain the respect of others, the love of a woman who sees your strength, the success you deserve in your career. You will become the master of your own destiny, a man who is truly in control of his life. Do not be a nice guy. Be a strong man. Be a respected man. Be the man you were meant to be. Dominance and assertiveness, the keys to a powerful life. Society today wants to shame men for their desire for dominance. But what is dominance, truly? Let me tell you, it is not about tyranny. It is not about crushing others under your heel. It's about leadership, about taking control of your own destiny. It's about becoming the master of your own fate, the captain of your own ship. They want you to believe that wanting to be in control, to be the one calling the shots, is somehow wrong, toxic. But I ask you, who would you rather follow? A man who knows what he wants and goes after it with unwavering determination, or a man who is constantly seeking permission, constantly apologizing for his very existence? Think of the great leaders throughout history, the men who shaped the world. Were they timid souls, afraid to assert their will? No, they were men of action, men of vision, men who were not afraid to dominate the situation, to take charge and lead their people to victory. They understood that true dominance is not about brute force, but about inner strength, about the unwavering belief in oneself and one's purpose. Alexander the Great, did he conquer vast empires by being a pushover? Or Napoleon Bonaparte, who rose from humble beginnings to become an emperor? Was he a timid little mouse? Absolutely not. They dominated their destinies. And you can too. It's not about ruling over others with an iron fist, but about mastering yourself, your emotions, your impulses. Assertiveness, on the other hand, is not aggression, as they want you to believe. It is about expressing your needs and desires clearly and confidently, without fear or hesitation. It is about standing up for yourself, for what you believe in, even when it is unpopular. It is about setting boundaries and enforcing them. Just imagine a lion. It doesn't apologize for its roar, does it? It doesn't cower in fear when confronted. It stands tall, proud, and assertive. It commands respect because it respects itself. Let me give you a concrete example. Picture this. You are in a meeting at work. You have a brilliant idea, a solution that could revolutionize the company. But you are afraid to speak up. You are afraid of being judged, of being ridiculed. What happens? Your idea dies in silence. You remain just another face in the crowd, another cog in the machine. But what if, instead, you choose to be assertive? What if you stand up, clear your throat, and confidently present your idea? What if you articulate your vision with passion and conviction? Suddenly, all eyes are on you. People are listening, truly listening. They are captivated by your confidence, your assertiveness. Even if they don't all agree with you, they respect you for having the courage to speak your mind. You have dominated the room, not through force, but through the sheer power of your presence. And what about in your personal life? Let us say your partner wants to go on a vacation to a place you absolutely despise. Do you just nod and agree, sacrificing your own desires for the sake of peace? Or do you assertively express your preferences, suggesting an alternative that would make both of you happy? A weak man, a nice guy, would choose the former. He would swallow his own needs, burying them deep inside, only to have them fester and turn into resentment later. A strong man, an assertive man, would choose the latter. He would communicate his desires openly and honestly, seeking a solution that respects both his and his partner's needs. I once knew a man who was constantly being taken advantage of by his friends. They would borrow money and never pay it back. They would cancel plans at the last minute. They would generally treat him like a doormat. Why? Because he was not assertive. He was afraid to say no, afraid to stand up for himself. He was a classic nice guy, and his life was a mess. But then, something shifted. He started practicing assertiveness. He started saying no when he meant no. He started setting boundaries and sticking to them. It was not easy at first. His friends were shocked, even angry. But slowly, they started to respect him. They realized that he was no longer a pushover, that he had a backbone. And you know what? His life transformed. He gained their respect, and more importantly, he gained self-respect. Dominance and assertiveness are not dirty words. They are not signs of toxicity. They are essential tools for success in every area of life. In your career, in your relationships, in your personal development. They are the keys to unlocking your full potential, to becoming the powerful, confident man you were always meant to be. They are about taking control of your life, of your destiny, of becoming the master of your own fate, the captain of your own ship. Are you ready to embrace your inner lion, to unleash your full potential, to dominate your life and achieve greatness? Then start practicing dominance and assertiveness today, and watch your life transform before your very eyes. The emasculation agenda. Who benefits? Have you ever stopped to truly ponder, to question the very fabric of this societal shift we are witnessing? Why, I ask you, why is there such a relentless and almost feverish effort to emasculate men, to strip them of their inherent power, their very identity? It is a deliberate and calculated attack. Is it simply a random occurrence, a natural evolution of societal norms? Or is there something far more sinister, far more calculated at play? Could it be, perhaps, that there are those lurking in the shadows who stand to gain from a society of weak, compliant, docile men? A society devoid of protectors, of leaders, of men who dare to stand up and roar, /and let us delve into this, shall we? Imagine a world, if you will, where men, the natural protectors, the warriors, are reduced to mere shadows of their former selves. Who then will stand against the tide of chaos? Who will defend the weak, the innocent? Certainly not the emasculated husks that society is trying to create. No, my friend, a society without strong men is a society ripe for the picking. A society vulnerable to any force that seeks to dominate it. /and consider this. A strong man, a man steeped in his masculine power, is a man who questions authority, who challenges the status quo. He is not easily swayed, not easily controlled, but a weak man, a man stripped of his confidence, his assertiveness. He is the perfect citizen in the eyes of those who crave power. He is compliant, obedient, and easily manipulated. He is a cog in the machine, a tool to be used and discarded at will. Backslash and look around you. Can you not see the signs? The constant barrage of propaganda, the subtle messaging in the media, the demonization of traditional masculine traits. They tell us that aggression is toxic, that ambition is selfish, that strength is oppressive. Why? Because a man who embodies these traits is a threat to their agenda. He is a force to be reckoned with, a wild card that cannot be controlled. Backslash and I once knew a man, a true leader, who dared to speak out against this very agenda. He was a lion among sheep, a beacon of masculine energy. And what happened to him? He was ridiculed, ostracized, labeled as a dangerous extremist. They tried to silence him, to break his spirit. Why? Because he represented a threat to their carefully constructed narrative. He dared to remind men of their true nature, their inherent power. Backslash n. And what about the rise of the nice guy phenomenon? Is it not simply another tactic in this war on masculinity? They want men to be passive, to be agreeable, to never rock the boat. But a man who is always nice is a man who never stands up for what he believes in. He is a doormat, walked all over by those who are more than willing to exploit his weakness. Backslash and think of the institutions that benefit from this emasculation agenda. The corporations that crave docile, compliant workers. The governments that seek to expand their control over every aspect of our lives. The social engineers who dream of a utopian society where everyone is the same, where individuality is crushed, and where dissent is silenced. They all benefit from a society of weak. There is hope, my friend. We can fight back. We can reclaim our masculinity, our power, our rightful place in this world. It starts with awareness, with recognizing the agenda that is being played out before our very eyes. It is about rejecting the lies, the propaganda, the subtle manipulation. It is about embracing our true nature as men, with all its strength, its ambition, its inherent power. We must become the men the world so desperately needs. The protectors, the leaders, the warriors. The men who will stand up and fight for what is right, no matter the cost. The men who will protect our values. The men who will protect our families. The men who will secure our future. The war on masculinity is real, but it is a war we can win. By understanding who benefits from our weakness, we can begin to reclaim our strength and forge a new path, a path of true masculine power. Is this what you want? A life of true masculine power? I can show you how. You just have to say yes. The path to reclaiming your masculinity. It is not too late. You can reclaim your masculinity, your power, your purpose. But how, you ask? It starts with rejecting the insidious lies you have been force-fed, the lies that have eroded your strength and left you a hollow shell. Embrace the truth about who you are. A man, a force of nature. It is about forging an iron will and an unbreakable spirit, a spirit that scoffs at weakness and embraces the raw power within. It is a journey of self-discovery, a brutal yet beautiful odyssey of pushing your limits, shattering your self-imposed boundaries, and becoming the man you were always meant to be, a man of steel and fire. And I will give you the roadmap, a battle plan to reclaim your lost kingdom. /N/N, we will discuss practical steps, a series of trials by fire, from physical training that will sculpt your body into a weapon to mental conditioning that will transform your mind into an impenetrable fortress. /N/N first, physical training. This is not about vanity. This is about reclaiming your physical presence, your power. Engage in intense weightlifting. Feel the iron in your hands, the burn in your muscles. It is the feeling of your body transforming, becoming a vessel of power. Push your limits. Run until your lungs scream. Spar, learn to fight. Feel the primal energy coursing through your veins. I remember a young man, once timid and frail, who started training in mixed martial arts. He was beaten down, bruised, and bloodied, but he kept coming back. And you know what? He became a warrior, confident, strong, and fearless. /N/N second, mental conditioning. This is about forging an iron will, a mind that does not yield, that does not break. Practice stoicism. Embrace hardship. See challenges not as setbacks, but as opportunities to grow stronger. Learn to control your emotions, your impulses. A story comes to mind of a successful businessman who lost everything in a market crash. He could have crumbled, given up, but he saw it as a test, a challenge. He rebuilt his empire, stronger and wiser than before. Read books on discipline and self-mastery. Meditate to sharpen your focus and your will. Seek out mentors, men who have walked the path before you, who can guide you, who can show you the way. /N/N third, embrace your instincts. For too long, you have been told to suppress your natural instincts, to be ashamed of them. No more. Embrace your drive, your ambition, your desire to conquer and achieve. I know a man who was always passionate about entrepreneurship, but was told it was too risky. He followed the safe path, got a stable job, and was miserable. Then he decided to embrace his instinct. He started his own business. It was tough, but his passion fueled him, and he is now a successful entrepreneur living his dream. Do not be afraid to take risks, to step outside your comfort zone. That is where growth lies, where true power is found. Remember, a ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. /N/N fourth, set ambitious goals. A man without a goal is like a ship without a rudder, aimlessly drifting at sea. Define your vision. What do you want to achieve? What kind of man do you want to become? Write it down. Make it concrete. I recall a client who had a vague desire to be successful. He had no plan, no direction. We worked together to define his goals, to break them down into actionable steps. He started small, but with each success, his ambition grew. He is now the CEO of his own company, a testament to the power of clear goals. /N/N fifth, reject the victim mentality. The world is full of people who blame others for their problems, who see themselves as victims. Do not be one of them. Take responsibility for your life, for your actions, for your successes and failures. Own your mistakes. Learn from them. I knew a man who was always complaining about his circumstances, blaming his boss, his family, the economy for his lack of progress. He was trapped in a cycle of negativity. Then he had an epiphany. He realized he was the only one responsible for his own life. He stopped blaming others, took ownership of his situation, and started making positive changes. It was not easy, but he persevered and turned his life around. /n/n sixth, cultivate discipline. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. It is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you do not feel like it. Start small. Make your bed every morning. Stick to a schedule. A friend of mine struggled with procrastination. He would always put things off until the last minute, resulting in stress and poor performance. He started implementing small disciplines, like setting daily priorities and sticking to them no matter what. It was challenging at first, but gradually, he developed the discipline to tackle even the most daunting tasks with ease. Remember, discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect. /n/n seventh, become a leader. Leadership is not about titles or positions. It is about influence, about inspiring others to follow you. Stand up for what you believe in. Be the man others look up to. I once witnessed a group of men facing a difficult challenge. They were lost, confused, and ready to give up. Then one man stepped forward. He spoke with conviction, with passion. He rallied the others, gave them hope, and led them to victory. That is the power of leadership. Seek out opportunities to lead, whether it is in your community, your workplace, or your family. /n/, and this journey will not be easy. It will be a constant battle against the forces that seek to keep you down. But I promise you, it will be worth it. You will emerge from this crucible a changed man, a man of power, purpose, and unyielding strength. A true alpha male, ready to take on the world and win. So, are you ready to embark on this journey? Are you ready to reclaim your masculinity? Are you ready to become the man you were always meant to be? The path is before you. Take the first step. Personal power and influence. How to command respect and get what you want. What is the key to getting what you want in life? Being a pushover? Absolutely not. Being a doormat that everyone walks over? No, the answer is personal power. Influence. The ability to command respect and make people listen to you, to bend them to your will. It is the very essence of the alpha, the force that separates the leaders from the followers, the victors from the vanquished. We will delve into the darkest, most guarded secrets of personal power, exploring techniques so potent, so effective, they will give you an undeniable aura of authority. Just imagine having everyone look at you with respect, admiration, and even a hint of fear, hanging on your every word, eager to do your bidding. Let's start with body language, the silent language of power. Have you ever seen a king slouch? A general fidget nervously? Of course not. They stand tall, shoulders back, chest out, projecting an image of unwavering confidence, an aura of dominance that fills the room. Their movements are deliberate, purposeful, each gesture a calculated display of control. Imagine walking into a room and instantly commanding attention, not with boisterous shouts, but with a simple, powerful presence. Your very posture screams, I am in charge. This is not about arrogance. It is about embodying the strength within you, letting it radiate outward, a beacon of power that draws others in. I once witnessed a man, physically unassuming, transform a tense negotiation simply by adjusting his posture and maintaining unwavering eye contact. The effect was electric, mesmerizing. He became the master of that room. The deal was his. He had a presence that said he is a force to be reckoned with. Voice tonality, the music of command. Think of the most influential leaders, the most captivating speakers. Their voices resonate with power, with a depth and richness that captures the listener's attention and holds it captive. It is not just about volume. It is about the timbre, the inflection, the subtle variations that convey authority, confidence, and unwavering conviction. A powerful voice can calm a storm, incite a riot, or persuade a nation. There's a reason why they say some men have a voice that commands attention. I once heard a speaker whose voice, a deep baritone, filled an auditorium, turning a restless crowd into a rapt audience, hanging on his every syllable. He could have told them to march into the sea, and they would have followed. That is the power of a well-trained voice. You will learn to control your voice, to use it as an instrument of power, to make people listen, to make them believe, to make them obey. Persuasive communication, the art of getting what you want. Words are weapons, and like any weapon, they can be used with precision and skill to achieve your desired outcome. True masters of influence know how to weave words into spells, crafting arguments that disarm, persuade, and ultimately control. They understand the power of framing, the subtle art of shaping perception to their advantage. They know how to use rhetorical questions to lead their audience to the desired conclusion, making them believe it was their own idea all along. Just think about this rhetorical question. Are you going to keep being a pushover? Or are you going to take control of your life? This is not just about fancy words. It is about understanding the psychology of persuasion, the triggers that make people tick, the desires that drive them. I have seen men use these techniques to close deals worth millions, to win over the most resistant audiences, to bend reality to their will. With this skill, you will be able to get what you want from any situation, any person, at any time. You will be able to turn opponents into allies and obstacles into opportunities. But it goes even deeper. We are talking about mastering the art of psychological manipulation, the subtle tactics that give you the upper hand in any interaction. Imagine being able to read people like an open book, understanding their motivations, their fears, their deepest desires. With this knowledge, you can subtly guide them, influence their decisions, and ultimately get them to do exactly what you want, without them ever realizing they are being manipulated. It is like having a superpower, the ability to control minds, to shape reality according to your will. We will explore techniques like mirroring and matching, anchoring, and the use of embedded commands, powerful tools that, when used correctly, can give you an almost unfair advantage in any situation. Remember, this is not about being deceitful. It is about understanding the dynamics of human interaction and using that knowledge to achieve your goals, to become a master of your own destiny. Some people might call it controversial or even unethical, but in the end, those who are willing to do what others will not end up achieving what others cannot. And in a world that tries to suppress true masculine power, these techniques are your secret weapons. They are what make you unstoppable, an alpha in a world of betas. It is about becoming the ultimate version of yourself, a man who commands respect, who gets what he wants, who is truly in control of his life. This is about becoming a master of influence, a man who can walk into any room, command respect, and get what he wants. It is about unlocking the power within you, the power that society has tried so hard to suppress. It is about becoming an alpha male, a leader, a force to be reckoned with. Are you ready to embrace this power? Are you ready to take control of your life and achieve everything you have ever dreamed of? Then step into the world of personal power and influence and become the man you were always meant to be. The man who gets what he wants. Let me tell you, the war on masculinity is not some phantom menace lurking in the shadows. It is a full frontal assault, a brutal siege on the very foundations of manhood. Look around you. Every day, the virtues that define a true man, strength, courage, ambition, independence, are demonized, ridiculed, and systematically dismantled. The media portrays strong men as villains. Academia preaches that masculinity is a social construct, a disease to be cured. Even the legal system seems to tilt against men, eroding their rights and responsibilities. But I tell you, this is a war we can win. And we must win, not just for ourselves, but for the future of our sons, our families, and our civilization. How, you ask? By embracing our inherent strength, our primal drive, our very essence as men. We must reject the poisonous narrative that seeks to emasculate us and reclaim the mantle of true masculinity. Imagine a world where men are no longer ashamed of their ambition, where they are celebrated for their courage, where their strength is seen as an asset, not a liability. That is the world we must build. It is time to break free from the shackles of weakness, the suffocating grip of the nice guy philosophy, and the insidious emasculation agenda. We must become the powerful, purposeful individuals we were destined to be. The warriors, the protectors, the leaders, the alphas. I have seen men rise from the ashes of self-doubt and societal condemnation to become titans of industry, pillars of their communities, and beacons of masculine power. I once knew a man who was so beaten down by the world, so convinced of his own inadequacy, that he could barely look another person in the eye. He was lost in a sea of weakness, but he found the strength within himself to change. He started small, working on his physique, hunting his mind, and cultivating an unyielding spirit. It was a brutal, uphill battle, but step by step, he transformed himself into a force of nature, a man who commanded respect and radiated an aura of power that was impossible to ignore. He became a leader, a mentor, and an inspiration to all who knew him. He became an alpha male. His story is just one example of the countless men who have rediscovered their masculinity and unleashed their true potential. It is time for us to rise, to reclaim our birthright as men, to cast aside the chains of political correctness and societal expectations, and embrace the raw, untamed power that lies within each of us. It is time to become the men the world so desperately needs in these times of uncertainty and chaos. Are you ready to join the ranks of the truly empowered? Are you ready to shed the skin of weakness and step into the armor of an alpha? Are you ready to embark on a journey of self-mastery that will transform you into a man of unwavering strength, unbreakable will, and unparalleled influence? Say yes, declare it to the world, and begin your transformation today. Your destiny awaits.